Hello, Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs and twin flame relationships. You ready for your September 2019 reading? I'm ready to give it. Currently doing this Monday morning, 1:19 a.m. Yeah, we're still in August. I'm trying to get these done before September hits because September 6th is my birthday. So I'm going to have some fun. I'm certainly not taking the month off. I'm a Virgo, but really looking forward to getting these out. It evolves every time I do a new set. Sometimes my guides and my process, it changes. So halfway through doing the series, they're like, now do it this way. I'm like, okay, and works, clicks. Added a couple of new decks to these readings, this only being the second one in Taurus. I do them in zodiacal order. Still using the Daughters of the Moon, the Caroline Myss archetype cards, using the, and I thought I made sure I had the box here. It's the Healing with the Angels, Doreen Virtue Healing with the Angels Oracle. The Daughters of the Moon Tarot, the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack, and the Whispers of Love, as I have been reading, but I've added to it this lovely little mandalic deck called the Cosmic Deck of Initiation by Barbara M. DeLong. There's a link down in the box below. Really cool set. I've had them forever. I KonMari'd my house, well, first sweep, I don't know that I'll ever be done with that, but so I found all these decks that I hadn't used and some of which I've never used, and we're gonna look at that one actually next, which is, and I have the box here, the Dream Deck. And it is a card essentially of symbols with writing on the back, so a true oracle deck. That's why I haven't worked with them usually for dream interpretation, but I'm finding them in the readings that I'm doing for myself and practicing with the deck and getting to know it. And my cat Milky, or the Taurus, absolutely agrees apparently, that you can actually see the symbols, most of them, in waking life, which is actually merrily, life is but a dream. Shaboom. It's totally mixed, two very different genres there. So we're going to be adding these as well. And then the third new deck that I am adding, I've had forever, but have only ever really used it for personal work. And that's the Osho Neo Tarot. It's not really a true tarot system. I objected to that when I first got it. I'm like, well, this doesn't have a major arcana, minor arcana, and court cards. It's not really tarot, right? But that's okay, because the same people put out the Osho Zen Tarot, which I have as well, but which is a traditional tarot deck, major arcana, minor arcana, and court cards. So not going to be using that, but I wanted you to know it does exist because it's not listed in the box below because I'm not reading with them, but easy enough to find, right? So whether or not you agree with Osho, the Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, or any of that stuff, what it is, it's a collection of different stories of different saints and masters, and from different traditions. Very universal, very eclectic, right? Both Eastern and Western, which is my jam. I'm trying to implode paradox. It's just happening. Just happens. What happens when you're born on a full moon? Virgo Sun, Pisces Moon, that's my birth moon. So I'm ready for you. The decks were blessed. It was lovely. It was lovely, particularly the angelic flavor was very lovely and sweet. So let's dive in, shall we? We're going to start with our first line. Just as I did the last time, I'm going to get you one of the usual 5 that I do, starting with Caroline Myss, and we'll get an Angel, Daughters of the Moon Tarot, Love Pack, and Whisper. And then we'll use the other cards to clarify. You'll see how this works. So we ready? My pantheon of angels, gods, and masters. Please, one archetype card. The Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, and twin flame relationship for September 2019. What is the soul power they're refining? What is the contract, a piece of their sacred contract in this twin flame relationship? What's the role they're playing in all of that? And this is within them. Oh, the Dilettante. Actually, not, rather interesting, very eclectic archetype. We'll get back to that. I want to lay out the major 5 first. The angels. My angels, please, can you clarify this dilettante archetype? It has such a negative meaning, usually, that word, but the light side of it is really lovely, too. So as dark as the shadow is as bright as the light. So my angels, please clarify what's going on with this dilettante Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign in twin flame relationship for September 2019. Well, blessings. Well, that's good, right? We will clarify what types of blessings, if we can. Sometimes the overall blessing is the best. It's like watering the entire garden instead of just focusing on one flower, right? That feels really nice. A dilettante of blessings, a blessed dilettante. That's pretty cool. I like that. It's got a nice light, airier feeling. It's not so rock hard serious for a fixed earth sign. There is only one fixed earth sign. It's called Taurus. So let's tune here now. I actually tuned to Demeter because she sits in the throne of Taurus with me, and I believe she's the only deity who does sit in the throne of Taurus in my pantheon. So it was really nice to connect with her. It was really, really nice. And that mother, that earth mother, the feeding mother, the topsoil, right? She's not Gaia. Gaia is the whole planet. Demeter is the topsoil, the mother, the feeder. You can ask her for money, but she's going to ask you what you want with it. What is it for? Partying? No. Food? Yes. So, my gods in collective, Demeter in particular. One card, please, to clarify. Whoa, I'm jumping around in my hand. To clarify this blessed dilettante, Taurus, collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign in twin flame relationship for September 2019. Please clarify this. Clarify this, please. Interesting, the Aquarius card. The Crone of Blades, which is interesting because it is your opposite sign, fixed air. So that may represent an Aquarian person, but often I find, because we are going to define a second line here for the other in the twin flame, in other words, your twin flame that you're dealing with. And please, if you have not yet watched the Clarifying Twin Flame Soulmates and True Lovers video, go watch it. It's in the description box, because the definition here we're dealing with, as I've said, but in every other twin flame video I've done, that twin flames are turbulent. There's pre-incarnational contracts that teach you how to heal yourself, because they can't give you what you need, right? So how to love yourself, how to take care of yourself. And if you get that that's the purpose of the relationship, not the reason, but the purpose of the relationship, you may find that walking the path of true love with a true twin flame, that you get the program, you get what the contract is about, it is much more graceful, and there's much more guidance because you're open to it. Excuse me, Melchior! He just wants temptations. There's a whole bowl of Purina 1 over there that he ain't touching. He's just being a stubborn Taurus boy. Do you want to come sit with me? Oh, the joys of motherhood. Come on. Ichikayama. Come on. Good boy. Lay down. They're such angels. I can't really get mad at them. I never really do. Except when they scratch shit they're not supposed to scratch, but, you know, a mother's love. Speaking of which, we move now to the Masters, please. One card here of clarification for this blessed dilettante dealing with the Aquarian energy or a person. Could be something within themselves as well as another person. So can you clarify, please? One card for this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign in twin flame relationship. Oh, we had a flipper there. See if that comes around again. Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs in twin flame relationships for September 2019. Please clarify. Oh, there's a risk. There's a risk. Someone's taken a risk. There we go. Walking across the tightrope from perhaps one an old life to a new life, right? We're all going through that, aren't we? I mean, in stages perhaps, but that thing of really moving from the old and the new, leaving the familiar terrain behind. That's really what that's feeling like right about now. So what we are going to do, center that. Let's get you a whisper of true love. My pantheon of angels, gods, and masters, please, a whisper of true love. Even though it's a whisper of love, that's for a whisper of true love, because twin flames and soulmates and all that's all on the path of true love. A whisper of true love for this blessed dilettante, Taurus collective sun, moon, rising, Venus signs in twin flame relationship for September 2019, top of the deck. The union of hearts. There is a connection of love that defies explanations. I just wanted to check the verbiage. There is a connection of love that defies explanation. Okay, you see that? It's like two trees, really the same root system, growing together, intertwined. Okay, we get that. It defies explanation, which means all that it's truly a thing. It's a union of hearts, maybe not so much a union of minds. Usually that comes along if the healing is done. I mean, my experience as a process healer for decades now is that you can get all the mental information that you want, but until the heart is open, the mind is a bit chaotic. It runs the show. So before I start laying down clarifiers, and I'll explain the three new decks, let me read the dilettante for you. The light attribute. Sorry, my contact lenses are a little wonky tonight. Delights in the arts without having to be a professional, right? Delights in, so that's that lightness of it. Alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. Similar to the seeker, but the dilettante really is very eclectic. They're like, you could say that they're the dabblers. Now, the negative side, I'll read it in a second, but it's like, oh, I've heard it said, oh, the dilettantes, right? Oh, he's such a dilettante, she's such a dilettante. It's like they're a dabbler. In the craft, we pretty much just call them dabblers. I'm just gonna say, you know, mucking around, thinking they can get a boyfriend with a candle. If that were the case, sweetheart. If it were only that easy. Actually, I find getting them is not the problem. It's not the issue. Getting them ain't the issue. So shadow attribute, speaking of dilettante, sexual dilettante, pretension to much deeper knowledge than you actually possess. Taurus. Taurus, 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 Taurus. Because you're so fixed on life values and stuff, really make sure that's a value of yours that you alchemize to know that you don't know. It's what I call the grace of humility. It's the first grace I really talk about in my book, Words of Grace from a Professional Witch, a book that I wrote while devastation was going on in my life, in my business, in my personal life, while at the same time being held aloft by angels, gods, and masters. So that thing of really knowing that you don't know and not pretending to, you know, although that makes really good TV and good movies, right? It's like, because you know that they don't know the characters. So it's a humorous situation, but in real life, it's just essentially lying. So don't. I really wouldn't. Not in a twin flame relationship, or really the more truth there is, yeah, the hotter the burn, but the stronger the transformation. And in twin flames, I find it's really a question of time versus intensity. Like, it's ripping off the Band-Aid, right? Well, I got hairy arms. So, you know, do you just intensity, or do you time? And what happens when one is doing time and the other one is doing intensity, right? Tricky. Well, and really in terms of time and intensity, the Taurus is perfect for that, because, you know, stubborn would be time, and charge Toro would be intensity. Cool. So with that dilettante with blessings, it's like, yes, you're having a time right now in September where it's like everything that you sort of touch into. And remember, when they say the arts, it's not just about the performing arts or the visual arts, like the culinary arts, the dabbling, like going to museums, like just kind of films, music, dance. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to actually perform any of it. You can delight in it through the appreciation and the experience of it and expand your horizons in that way. Just don't be a stuffed shirt as you go. Don't pretend to know what you don't. In fact, I would hope people find it disarming nowadays when someone goes, you know what, I have no idea, tell me, right? Should that, if there's truly an interest there, right? And that there are blessings in that. That is a blessed time for you. And, you know, they're giving me that there's a percentage in the collective here that perhaps it's a time, my dilettante Taurians, to dabble a bit in blessing. Just saying. You know, people are so afraid of curses and hexes. If they understood that the movement of energy is the same, whether it's a blessing or a curse. It's about the quality of the energy. It's about the intention of the energy, right? Is it in alignment with the truth of who you are, not just what's true, the core, the soul, the spirit of who you are, the divinity that you are. To dabble in that, right? To look into that. There's so many different ways to bless, just like there's so many different ways to curse, just saying. Now this I'll definitely pull clarifiers for in a little bit, because why does I try and stay away from identifying people other than particularly if I'm reading one particular person, but this does feel like a significant character. The Aquarius card, that fixed air in contrast to fixed earth, they're complementary opposites. Am I right on that? Oh no, the opposite of Taurus is Scorpio. Oh, so this is a square. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So this isn't your opposite sign. This is a square. So I was wondering what that was about, because really you've got such the fixed earth and the fixed air with so much in between, so much distance there. And that Aquarians, though they may see the big picture, and certainly if you have an Aquarius sun, moon, or rising, or a Venus sign, you know, and you're here Taurus for another placement, this could be speaking more about the mind, about your ability to fixate, about your ability to see, yes, fixate, fixed air, focus, while at the same time getting to the higher altitude. Through shifting attitude. Attitude determines altitude, right? You know, not that you have to be blissful, annoying, perky, optimistic 24/7, 365, living in the vortex. Honey, I'm from New York. I can only take so much of that in 1 week, right? Any one particular person, even myself. To me, that's not the path of true love anyway. It's about saying, let me keep my vibration high, and whenever I dip, love whatever rises in that dip. Right? So, and that really feels more like a Taurus thing, right? It's like, well, what's happening in my body while there is this transcendent energy here of this Aquarius, this 11th house humanitarian, global, larger picture, higher vision, higher altitude. And that there is a risk in this. Now, the thing about risk is life is risk. It just is, right? Wake up in the morning. I've been saying this since I started teaching tarot. Every morning you get out of bed, it's the Fool card. If you think about it, it really is symbolically, because you could be stepping into a nice, comfy bedroom slipper or cat bath. It's happened in my life. I've had cats my entire life. So you never know, right? It's always a risk. What are you going to do? Like sleep at the deck and whip out a card and say, well, how's the right foot going to hit the ground, right? You know, it's risk. So, and yes, path of true love is all about risk. It's a hero's journey. There are times when you're just not going to know. But you do get these visions, and particularly with the union of hearts here, this is just lovely, saying that, okay, that there is something here in this twin flame relationship. There's definitely a contract, and there's definitely love flowing between the two of you. But is it romantic? Is it not? Who knows? I mean, if you've been watching my videos long enough about these relationships, you know that I'm reading a huge amount of people, apparently. So this basic archetypal relationship structure could manifest itself in any form. All right. So now let me introduce you the cosmic deck of initiation, right? Even though I've had it forever, you think I could remember. I suck at names. Oh, the cosmic deck of initiation. I got it right. All very mandalic. There's zodiac cards in here, and if we get an Aquarius card on that one, that'll be interesting. So these have been blessed by the angels. So this is going to help clarify that card of blessings, that angel card. So we're going to pull one for this one. Cool, cool. A card of blessings. Here we go. My angels, could you please clarify this blessings card? What is this blessings about? Is there a particular way to access this blessing? A clue, a tip, a hint for this Taurus in this twin flame relationship? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, September 2019. Oh, the golden rule. Well, there. That sort of says it. There are some cards in here about universal law and stuff. So the golden rule. Now, come on, you know it. If you don't know it, do you really? Do I have to tell you to go Google the golden rule? Golden rule is simply do unto others as you would have them do unto you, in case you were unfamiliar. So, so hence the becoming a dilettante in blessings. I mean, it's a way to look at it. It actually feels relaxing because as you bless others, the blessings pass through you. In the Path of True Love readings, I was doing blessings at the end of it. For this one, I'm not feeling to do that because I'm giving you so much information. And this can be so much more specific, where the Path of True Love reads are about you on the path, because the Path of True Love is about you as an individual, a hero on the journey. Everybody else is a character on your journey, and you're a character in theirs, right? So this is more about now an interaction on the path, particularly with a twin flame contract. Yeah. So to bless them, whoever they are, really bless everybody. That's the best way to kind of get that energy moving out there. Circulate energy. You want to really circulate new energy through your nervous system? Bless somebody you don't like. It's like exorcism in you. It heals you. And what it does, it blesses them. Who cares? You're healing. But the intention is there, because the only people who really screw you over are people who are in pain, right? People running on broken legs, I call it. So let's go into a different modality here with this dream deck. I like this deck like a lot. And yes, I could study and read each card, but the thing is, it's like a dream dictionary and cards, and I'm not big on dream dictionaries because the personal subconscious is so personal, right? I mean, there's a part of the subconscious that merges with the unconscious. Obviously, that's collective, right? And this can certainly speak to that. But I find that divination systems in general are Jungian. Just my take on it. So let's have a look-see here. Oh, this deck is blessed by the gods, right? So this is going to help clarify that Aquarius card. Now, whether or not these images are in dreams, if you're having dreams about them, if during the month this symbol pops up for you at some point, Mazel tov. Try and remember this one, but it may also be something that shows up synchronistically in your waking life. My gods, please, one card of clarity from this dream deck. Into the subconscious we go. Into the dream time we go. One card of clarity for this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign in twin flame relationship. For September 2019. There are two of you there. Take this one. Who do we got here? Ooh, it's a pretty card. Abandonment. Didn't realize this deck had womp womp cards. I would call that a womp womp card. Shall we? Abandonment. The mind sometimes uses dreams as a form of therapy. No, really? Enabling us to come to terms with painful experiences by reliving them through our subconscious. Dreaming of being abandoned may be an expression of feelings of loss or disappointment. Have you recently suffered a bereavement, come to the end of a friendship, or split up with your partner? Has somebody close to you let you down? If your dream self was still alone when the dream ended, search the dream landscape for signs of life. Were there lights in a distant house or footprints in the sand? Now, I was like, oh, what a pretty deck. And now I get it. They're wandering in the forest all by themselves. They've been left in the middle of the forest. Now, look, with that card of Aquarius, perhaps there is a history and experience here of somebody pulling back. Now I have to say, Crone of Blades in this deck, but fixed air, the Aquarius card in traditional tarot, and I'll say in the Rider-Waite tarot, is Queen of Swords, making a choice head over heart, right? Being systemic, absolutely necessary sometimes. But in a situation like this, if this is you, there's a touch of, because that's a reaction from when you were abandoned, there might be some unhealed stuff here. Twin flame relationships are supposed to trigger you. That's why sometimes the push me, pull me, the distance pattern is just woven into it, because you just need to heal there. They can't heal you on this. But also it says, because maybe you were abandoned, you are doing or contemplating doing to them what was done to you. And you know what? That's what we do until we wake up. And well, I'm not saying you're not woke. I mean, sometimes that's just what we do on the process until we understand the golden rule is more than just a thing for grade school. It really is a means of understanding the vibrational nature of a quantum universe. Just saying. So this card of risk. Now this Osho deck, so interesting. I mean, I've used these cards, the stories, so each card has a different type of master or lesson or teaching on it. It's just really cool, both Eastern and Western, as I said. They're numbered, there are pictures, but there's also a little booklet that came with it. I have no idea where the original box is. That's gone. So if I need to, if I'm not familiar with the story, I'm not going to read the whole story, but I will read the little intro at the beginning of each description. So this one is blessed by my masters, made sense, and so many of them in here are considered masters. So my masters, please clarify this risk card for the Taurus Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs and twin flame relationships for September 2019. Now this risk card is a healing card. It's of the healing suit in this deck. So a healing risk, please clarify this. What's going on? Prayer. This card just came up in the Aries reading. I think it was second line. It was for the other. Yeah. It totally was. This one, I mean, because I just read it, I'm familiar with it. It's card number 23, prayer, right? So what it is one guy, you know, on his knees who's praying in his way, and the guy above him is sort of like saying, well, that's not the right way to pray. You should do it this way. You should, here, let me do that. You should do door number 1 or door number 2, but you really shouldn't do door number 3. I mean, whatever that is. But the message here in and of itself is not to judge yourself on how you get there, how you take that risk. Just go into prayer. Okay. So from A Course in Miracles, because I can't say this on my background. It is my background. It saved my shit, The Course in Miracles, for a Virgo. So there are 50 miracle principles in the first chapter. It really does kind of kick off the book with some heavy reading and some not the easiest words in the world to understand, though written in iambic pentameter, most of it. In that way, very classic. It's number 11. Prayer is a medium. Prayer is the medium of miracles, a means of communication between creation and creator. Through prayer, love is received, and through miracles, love is expressed, right? So to go into prayer here for this risk, that this may even be something indeed that you prayed about, and now you have to take a risk, and you're like, oh my God, this isn't what I wanted, this isn't what I wanted. But honestly, if you want to go from one cliff to the next, you gotta walk the tightrope. You gotta take the risk on this one. And with an abandonment issue here, with this Aquarian energy, you might be thinking that either this is the only way this can go, but to take the risk and the nature of that risk, I'm sure more information in the second line will come up when we look at the other. Cool. So that's your first line. We've got the dilettante, like we said, is sort of like a dabbler, with the golden rule of blessings, which really feels that thing like the more of a blessing you are, and the more that you seek blessings and give blessings, even if they're silently, that there's that golden rule. Like really treat people like they're blessings. Be a blessing unto them. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And then with that Aquarius card, with abandonment, you know, I know that these are dream cards, but I mean, that's something that we can all feel abandoned. Now, there is a thing called the dark night of the soul, which I'm sure many have heard of. It ain't just a bad night, by the way. It can last years. Usually people don't realize they're even in the dark night for months and months and months. because it's a mystical thing, right? It's not necessarily, people aren't that well read on the subject. And I've experienced 2 of them in this life so far. Please let that be enough. Highly, highly, highly underrated forms of spiritual transformation. That's like beginning, middle, and end, but amazing, right? Transforming your life. I wouldn't be doing this were it not for the dark night of the soul I went through last year and the year before that. And actually this would be my 3rd, or maybe it was the continuation, who knows, ultimately mystical. It's a mystery. But one part of it is that a feeling of being abandoned by, particularly if you're a witch, like your spells ain't working and you can't hear your guides or your gods, and you know, it's like you feel abandoned by the divine, where really you've never been closer. You're so immersed in the divine. It's like the cookie dough in the oven. Like you can't really see that what's going on is the transformation of your life, and you feel abandoned. But that's what the path of true love, if anything, brings up, is that abandonment, because that emotion trapped within the cellular memory of humanity is what makes us vicious to each other, because we feel so abandoned and so alone, because we can't feel the divine within ourselves. We forget that we never really left home. We've never really been abandoned if we're all one. 5th dimensional unity consciousness, people. It's not just the future. Shit's going down now. Watch the news, right? 5th dimension is pressing out all of this dysfunction, and twin flames are like the personal way of doing that. Yeah, you're being transformed. Either that or dealing with somebody else who is. So if someone just poof took off, but I would think that would be in the 2nd line, but we'll have a look. And let us not forget there also that card of risk and prayer, right? That there I can see you going, okay, God, please, God, Goddess, all that is, Zeus, Buddha, Jesus, Fred, Wilma, Shaggy, Scooby, Velma, that almost kind of rhymed. Help me get that. I prayed for this. Oh my God, please help me. But with that card of union of hearts, totally worth it. Totally worth it. That there is a pre-incarnational contract here. And union of hearts, all hearts are united. That's why as you bless your heart, you bless all hearts. And I don't mean that, oh, bless your heart. I don't mean it that way, although I love that. Like, way of ugly as sin, bless her heart. Fucking love that. But, you know, I have to bless every day. That's my function. And I think that's all of our functions, right? So to bless your own heart, bless this part, bless them, do unto them, so at least spiritually, right? At least mentally, emotionally, get yourself into it, because the blessings have to come through you to get them. That's why it blesses you on its way to them. All right, let's get our 2nd line here. We're going to pull an archetype card for the other. Here we are, my angels, gods, and masters. Please, one card for the other in this twin flame relationship with the Taurus Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign collective. September 2019. What's their archetype that they're bringing to the table? The artist, or the dilettante and the artist. Oh my God, ding, 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 right? So one who's probably like really, really, really like an artist, and the other one like, oh, this is so cool. Now, yeah, could this be a little groupie-ish? Maybe. Could this be, oh, you are on the pedestal? Kind of feels that way, gotta say. I'll read the artist. I have the artist lifelong. This is my art, you know. I was in what used to be called the performing arts. I don't know what the hell they call it anymore, but, you know, I was a dancer, singer. But really, I'm writer. I'm verbal. Should have been an actor, but I'd probably be dead by now, either by murder, sex, drugs, or rock and roll. So let's get from my angels here. My angels, please, one card of clarity for this Taurus Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign other. Who is the other in this for this Taurus Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame relationship, September 2019? Please clarify this artist. Harmony. Now, immediate connotation to music, I'd say, yeah. Now, well, there is a card in this deck called music that came out in harmony. So that, I mean, this is feeling really good so far. We'll see what the clarifiers are later. But, you know, depending on whether their balance of lead to gold in the artist archetype, right, that's going to determine quite a bit. So let's get a little more here, please, my gods. One card for this other, perhaps the cross watcher, watching this in relationship, in this twin flame relationship with the collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, Taurus, sun, moon, rising, Venus signs. September 2019, a clue, a tip, a hint. The Dreamer, which is the card of the Fool. I think I see a pattern forming. I love this version of the Fool. I know we're so used to watching them jump off cliffs. She's dreaming. She's visioning. She's gazing into the water. Yeah, it's not a cliff, a riverbank, right? And look at her hand. She's directing intention, right? She's not putting a foot over. She's putting a finger over, and she's sort of doing that, right? She's stirring, she's planning, she's dreaming. I mean, for a Taurus, this sounds really airy, artsy, and feels, I mean, like when I was doing the blessing and the tuning, it was very sort of light, particularly the angel cards, but I'm sort of getting why. This is tricky. I can feel that. So, hey, let's clarify this. My masters, please, one card. I hear you. Thank you. One card, please, for this other in the twin flame relationship with the Taurus sun, moon, rising, Venus sign for September 2019. Please, a card of clarification. An adventure. Oh my goodness, an adventure. Yeah, Taurus, if you're not up for an adventure, I can understand the abandonment. Maybe you want to abandon ship on this one. Like I said, I thought that would play itself out in that risk, right? Well, it's right under the adventure card. It is right under that card of the risk with prayer. So, yeah, this is an adventure. Now, here's the thing. There are people who are married to their twin flames, right? Like they wanted me to say that really clearly. There are people who live happily ever after with their twin flames, even though they're turbulent. Why? Because true love conquers all, right? You don't got to divorce somebody. You don't got to kick them out or hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Just because you find out you're in a twin flame relationship. You go, no, we're going to be an adult about this. I'm going to do this with an open heart, but my boundaries are going to be wicked clear, and I'm going to get, they can't give me what I need, but only I can. In other words, I could try and find somebody else, but if you don't complete the contract with the twin flame, so why would you get a soulmate? Soulmates are satisfying. You help each other heal. You help each other get what you need. Where twin flames, it's no comprende. It just doesn't compute. And that's necessary. You need your twin flames for the personal transformation on the path you just do. So this person might very well be up for and very in harmony with, hey, let's see where this goes. And it's an adventure, and it's harmonious, and I have dreams, and I have visions, and it's a new beginning, and it's so new. And you might be like, all right, well, I'll dabble. I've done this before. I can dance with you. I can hang out for a little bit. We can play. But to bless them as you go with the golden rule, that's fine. And if indeed there is a time where you got to bail, where you got to Aquarian out of there, woo! Nobody can ghost you faster than an air sign, but come on. Well, maybe Geminis can do it faster. Sometimes I don't think they're ghosting. I think they're just distracted, right? But Aquarians, sort of like the hermits of the air signs, can just fucking vanish off planet Earth. Well, you know, they are ruled by Uranus, but not mine. I'll say that. I'm a top. Let's get, speaking of Richard, Whisper of True Love. That was a horrible segue. I know. Hey, Reggie Jackson didn't hit a home run every time. You don't know who Reggie Jackson is, really, kids. Not that I'm big into sports, can you tell? My angels, gods, and masters, please. One card here. My heart felt for this artist dealing with this Taurus, and this Taurus dealing with this artist. Please, my angels, guards, and masters, one card, a whisper of true love. A whisper of love here for the other in this twin flame relationship with the Taurus Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign for September 2019. I feel you. I feel you. There you are. Love is all around you. Very Mary Tyler Moore. Love is all around you. There is love everywhere, all the time. Simply acknowledge this as truth, and this might very well be their point of view. Oh, I think this is the Aquarian. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't like assigning and affixing signs to people because we are more than just our sun sign, although it does represent the ego, right? Easier to identify there. But let's clarify this just to get a little bit more. Please, my angels, a clarifying card for this second line, this harmony here. What's going on with this other in the Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs? In this twin flame relationship, what's going on here? September 2019, this one. Sower of seeds, no shit. Sower of seeds, I'm not kidding. But with harmony, I mean, it's a good time. Look, I can say, not a pause button, but let me just say, some of the twin flame relationships I've had that were sexual romantic, flammable, like so hot, so passionate, but scalding and transforming, particularly when we could no longer be together, when it was just that part of the script went our separate ways. You know, if you face addiction issues, you can face codependency, you know, just all how you medicate yourself, how you heal yourself, hence the pattern of the twin flame itself, the relationship itself, is you learn how to heal yourself, you learn how to love yourself, right? So the sower of seeds there with harmony, this person, particularly with, you know, I gotta say, these two circle cards, right? The sower of seeds with the dreamer, the fool. Probably this is an initiation for them and you. Yeah. Now again, that doesn't necessarily jump to it being sexual or romantic, but it's tilting that way a little bit. Let's find out. And for that, right, I need the dream deck. Please, my God, let's clarify. Please clarify the other, the dreamer here. This Fool card, the dreamer, the other in this Taurus twin flame Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign relationship for September 2019. These are new cards, so they're sticking. Please, this one, thank you. And who do we have here? The Maze, M-A-Z-E, not M-A-I-Z-E. Otherwise, it's call it corn. You know, always down with an old commercial reference. The Maze. The modern world presents us with a bewildering array of choices and decisions. The anxiety that these sometimes provoke can, sorry, my contact lenses are just spinning in my eyes all of a sudden. Oh, like a maze. Oh, you know what the word amazed means when you say something's amazing? You get mazed, and my eyes are totally clouding over, but doesn't matter. I'm gonna forge through this. The anxiety that these sometimes provide can provoke. I'm so sorry. My eyes are literally clouding over. It's almost like not allowed to see this. I mean, it's a little literal, but my eyes, my contact lenses are like frosting over. And maybe that's because it's the card of the Fool. It's a leap of faith. It's like, just know that this person is either amazed, which is a little on the nose, literal, or that they don't know. They just don't know what's going to happen. They don't know what they're doing. So keep that in mind. Wow, that's like really strong. It's almost like my eyes, I'm not going to say they went opaque, but they really kind of are hard to see through in terms of that small print. That's weird. And I just put my contact lenses in, and now they're clearing. Yeah, take that for what it is. So sorry. Oh, you know what I'll do? I'll type it out later and I'll put it in the comment. That's what I'll do. So I'll remember that. Please remind me to do that. I'll put this deck down. It was a little too powerful that it's screwing with my contact lenses. So then, this is much easier. Okay. My masters, please, this adventure, can we please have an Osho card here? Please, a clarifier for the other in this twin flame relationship with Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Please, a clarifier. Let's do this way so I can't see them. Please, a clue, a tip, a hint, my masters. There you are. Please, one for the other in this twin flame Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign relationship, September 2000. I've got you 19. Transformation. Transformation. There's even a scorpion in it. I mean, literally going astrologically with Scorpio, that connection to Hades, and that's number 38. Now, this might be a little bit easier for me to read. Are you going to do it to me on this side? Number 38, 34, 35. Transformation. God, I don't know if they're going to let me do this. This hasn't happened in a reading before. Transformation. Simply try Atisha's exercise. Bring all the sufferings of the world into your heart and pour out blessings. It brings immediate results. Do it today and see. This is what I do. This is about the alchemical transformation within the self. It's breathing in the pain and the suffering that's already, and look, if you're an empath, if this person is an empath, that this is they're going through a transformation of their own internal world, certainly, but it's affecting the world around them. That they are going through an emotional process of alchemy, of all of this stuff not just coming up from within them in this relationship, but also things they're seeing in the world are triggering things that are coming up for them. And for them to stay with an open heart, for your both of you to be in an open heart is part of the adventure. I mean, it's not really an adventure if you know how it's going to end, or you know the curriculum in specific. That's a cruise. But even then, you don't know when you go on a cruise what's going to happen. I've never been on one. I can't wait to go on. I do want to go on one eventually. I want to go to the Greek islands. We'll see. I want to touch the Temple of Dionysus with wet feet, meaning my feet would be wet. Not that I want to touch it with wet feet. That they're on that this is an adventure of transformation for them. That's sort of, that I really am feeling they're sort of in for a penny, in for a pound. Let's see where this goes. That's very artistic in that. And then, of course, that thing with love is all around you. No need to waste it. Take the time, why don't you take it? You're going to make it after all, right? This artist, much more up for this trip than I think you are. But I am going to say with that card of blessings that you have, that's so clear in that card of transformation, that to breathe in what's going on into the heart, love it, give it love, let it be what it is. It's not being possessed by pain, it's not breaking your heart, it's a way of healing it. And to then bless it and send that, bless that love and compassion back out into the world. That's a big deal. That is a big deal. And if that's part of this person's art, because what is art? Really taking in the medium, taking in the words, the choreography, breathing it into your soul, and then the soul sending it back out through performance. And by the way, that's with food, that's with writing, that's with anything. Art can take pretty much just about any form. All right. Very, very intense second line here. No question about it. From the artist all the way down to love is all around you. We've got a major arcana card here of the Fool, the Dreamer, but things in harmony with that Sower of Seeds. I mean, this feels like an initiator. This person is an initiator, but they're kind of balanced and harmonious and really cool with it, though they are on this adventure of transformation that, though partly excruciating, is a blessing unto the world. They're feeling it. We're going to pull an archetype card for now, the third line, which is the relationship itself. Because there's you, my Taurus, there's the other, and then there's the relationship itself, right? It's like the third person in the relationship is the relationship itself. So let's finish off this line here, please. My pantheon of angels, gods, and masters, please, what is the overriding archetype for this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, sign, twin flame relationship for September 2019? The magical child. Huh. These cards are much easier to read, all right? Now, the child archetype has what you want to call maybe sub-archetypes in it. There's the orphan, there's the nature child, there's the divine child, the eternal child, which is Peter Pan. The magical child, the wounded child is also one that people are usually pretty aware of. All right, come on, are you going to let me see this? Of course it has to be in light lavender ink. No. There we go. Light attribute. Seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things. Sounds very much like love is all around, right? The belief that everything is possible, right? That magic child, everything is possible, and the sacred is in everything. I mean, I've been there. I've got a good touch of the magical child. I mean, we're looking at Harry Potter, who makes the shift from the orphan child to the magical child, right? And then the hero on the journey, right? We totally watch his hero's journey. But the shadow attribute is pretty bad. Pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and actions are not required for growth. So there we go. The magical child there. Now, for the overall relationship, it might be that the two of you are polarizing each other as twins, where one of you really is in the light. It feels like the artist would be more in that, like, well, anything is possible. Anything is possible. And Taurus, you might be the one with that abandonment issue there, that this is such a risk for you because of past experiences. And look, everybody's got their story, sweetheart. I know, we all, but that's the curriculum sometimes. Sometimes, isn't it always about facing the fear? Not face the fear and do it anyway, although it's a brilliant book. I think that's been reinterpreted in a way that's not necessarily healthy anymore. But to say it's okay to be afraid, it's okay, but this is a soul thing, and the dealing with and the healing of that fear and emotion, of that past trauma, of the loss, of the feeling of abandonment, you know, neglect, abuse, all of that stuff. That's what twin flames are for, is to bring that stuff up so that they can be healed. Just saying. Right. So this is for the relationship in general. It feels like you're both playing off of each other. So let's get one of these. Please, my angels, a card of clarity for this overall Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Twin flame relationship for September 2019. The relationship itself, a magical child. Trust. Trust. Risk. Trust. 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 Trust yourself. Trust them. Who knows? We'll get clarifiers for that. You know I will. My gods, please. Cute, but no. Cute. Very cute, but no. Please, my gods. One card for this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Twin flame relationship for September 2019. This feels different. It's an overall. One card for this relationship overall. Six of Cups, compassion. That's what I was feeling. Six of Cups. Now it's called nostalgia, but in this deck it's just so lovely. It's one woman laying on the beach holding one cup with the other 5 cups in the waves, and 5 women like laying hands on her, like doing healing, like at different chakra points. It really is a giving of oneself, a compassion of understanding that perhaps there are wounds going on here, and there's an emotional healing and a balance. Right, 6 of Cups, balance. There can be a real healing here. So really, if you can trust that the emotion that's going to flow through can be done from compassion. And to me lately, like, I can really overcomplicate compassion sometimes, and sometimes it just boils down to everybody is doing the best that they can. They may not look at, they might not even know it. You, to yourself, you're doing the best that you can. But it's a learning curve. The purpose of these relationships are not getting what we want. It's learning how to heal ourselves and love ourselves. So if that can be taken into consideration, talk about time versus intensities can bring a great amount of grace to the intensity, hence shortening the time of the pain, and perhaps some enjoyment there and some passion if it is romantic. Sexual, again, nothing here. There are cards that could come out and say this is sexual, this is romantic. So far not, but let's ask Chuck, shall we? Good luck, Chuck. Please, my masters, card from the love pack here, clarification here. The overall relationship, this twin flame relationship, sun, moon, Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame relationship for September 2019, please. Clarifier. The overall self-worth, all right? So that's the goal. That's the prize. That's what this is about. This is about self-worth. Now, it might be that one of you sees it, the other of you doesn't, either in yourself. But that this is worth it. Certainly, this relationship is worth it regardless of how it plays out. If it's about you, not, people say know your self-worth. Well, okay, but isn't that an ongoing process? Is that like like you go for an appraisal? Self-worth, it's what you how you value yourself, how you experience your wealth. Well, you're a divine eternal being, birthless, deathless, guiltless, sinless, in a body. You're an angel in a body. Really, that's what the soul is. It's a divine thing that took on a personality so that it could go for walks on the beach and have headaches, right? And heal and get sick, right? And have the turbulence of twin flame relationships and the satisfaction of soulmates, and eventually experience what they're showing me is true lovers, which is an implosion of twin flame and soulmate. But I'm not going into that. I'm saving that for my book because I'm going through it myself right now. So is it worth it? Yeah, this relationship is worth it for both of your sense of self-worth overall, but that you can also help each other reflect that to each other. You know, and say, look, whatever this is worth it. Let's do this. Your soul, my soul. Let's just see how this goes. Take the adventure. Now, I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm saying that word worth there, when it's about the relationship, it's saying the relationship, it's self-worth is worth it. My angels, gods, and masters, please, a clarifier. No, sorry, a whisper of true love. This feels so cool. My angels, gods, and masters, please, a whisper of true love for this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Twin flame relationship for September 2019. Top card, top card, top card. Making sure they're not stuck together. Be in the present and dream of the future. Be in the present, dream of the future. When we dream, everything is possible. Now, doesn't that, I'll show you the card. Doesn't that just really speak to that other in here in terms of that being on the adventure, be in the present, dream of the future? They've got the dreamer here. And that, you know, when we dream, everything is possible. Magical child. It says right in it, the belief that everything is possible. I mean, if you got the decks and bought them, you'd be able to see. Maybe I can, yeah, no, the camera's probably not going to read that, but everything is possible there. It's at the top of the card if you really want to. Yeah, just pause it and look or not. I don't know. So this third line here for the relationship itself, I mean, I'm going to give it clarification, but if you can trust in the process, if you can, that magical child, if you can allow this relationship to trust that where it's going is about compassion and self-worth, but it's always going to be about the present moment, not the past. It may trigger things from the past, but it's not the past. And it's not about the future. It's not about getting what you want. The path of true love is not about getting a partner. It's not about having happy relationships all the time. It's about unconditional love. And we don't really even begin to experience unconditional love until we've had our hearts broken, because we have to love to keep living and moving and growing and evolving, right? That's what the path is about. So this could be a very, very healing thing that there's a compassionate golden thread woven through this contract about self-worth. But, you know, I'll clarify. Let's get our last three for this angel card of trust here. My angels, please, a card of clarification for this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign relationship for September 2019. Please, trust with Capricorn. Now, Capricorn, because this is the relationship itself, I'm going to say that Capricorn's talking about 10th house energy, right? Saturn, slow and steady wins the race. This has been going on for a while, or will go on for a while, but it is a rough road. This feels like you're taking time over intensity. It does feel that way, that this might be something that's been going on. Even though the card of the dreamer, the fool, is there in the second line for the other, this might be a relationship you're already in, which is probably why, if this is a twin flame relationship and you're married to this person, that would make sense what they made me say before, because it is true. There are millions of people that are married to their twin flame. It ain't easy, but the soul growth that they're going for, if they do the work, right? Huge, gigantic. And it doesn't mean that you complete your contract with them and then, you know, you're separated. Maybe that happens sometimes. Maybe that's predominantly what happens. But, you know, if you have kids, if you own property, and if you genuinely love each other, but you just can't give each other what you want. I see that all the time with people in marriages, that they're no longer lovers. They're brothers and sister, or brother and brother, or sister and sister. It's just how things go. We shift, we change, but it's all part of the path, right? Tricky as fuck, though, I'll tell you that. So that Capricorn, slow and steady wins the race, but worth it. 10th house is about highest potential. Thank you, Carolyn Mace. I know you're still alive, but I'm referring to your work in Sacred Contracts. Highest potential. That your highest potentials are being developed here, Taurus. So Taurus, slow and steady wins the race. Don't charge on this, but you have to take steps. You can't totally resist this. That risk is just obvious now with this. So let's get another one of these. Hopefully they'll let me read it now. Let's see. I mean, I can see the tarot card pretty well underneath it. My gods, please, one that I can see. How about I just keep my eyes open and blink them a lot while I do this? Hydrate my eyes, I guess. My gods, please, one card for this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame relationship for September 2019, please. A clue, a symbol, a Jungian archetype. The map. We've got the map, the maze, and the abandonment. And didn't I say it was like they were dropped down in the middle of the fucking Amazon forest, not knowing where to go? Holy crap. This is very synchronistic, but yeah, this is what a reading's supposed to do. Man, the 15 minutes I take blessing these decks beforehand, totally worth it. Oh, they're going to let me read it. The map, maybe. In our waking lives, the only maps available are those which show us how to get from one physical place to another. The maps in our dreams, while showing mountains and valleys or streets and squares, may help us navigate the more uncertain contours of our careers and relationships. Was your dream map easy to follow? Where did it lead you? Into an alien landscape, in a familiar setting, or up a blind alley? Could the map be showing you the way to achieve a goal you have set for yourself, or suggesting a change in direction? The map then with this is with this card of compassion, this Six of Cups, is really kind of saying there that this is just part of the plan. This is part of it, part of the navigation of this, that there is emotional healing, that there is compassion. Yes, if it's purely teaching you how to be compassionate with yourself, which I'm sorry, the best way I know to do that is like, it's okay, sweetheart, you're doing the best that you can. I love you. You say to yourself the words you want the other person to say, and it's okay if you don't have that immediate emotional response as if they had said it to you, because the heart, the child doesn't believe it. It's been lied to before. Its dreams may have been dashed. Its belief in magic tarnished, if not completely. You can't completely destroy it. In that archetype, you just alchemize it back from lead into gold. By the way, gold into lead is alchemy too. It goes both ways. It's not just about lead into gold. So with that map here, and it's just so funny, what do we got on the map? We've got a swan, one of the birds of true love, and a sailboat, right, on an adventure here, a compassionate adventure, a map of compassion, a compassionate map is what this relationship for September is sort of graphed out on, so to speak. Let's get this last one here. Let's get a Osho card for the card of self-worth. Please, my masters, last card down of the spread. This is a long one, but you said this one was going to be long. Well, it's not just for my birthday, I'm sure, but, you know, okay. I feel like every time I'm going to do a twin flame reading, it might very well be a different setup every time. That's okay. I'm a tree. I can bend. My masters, please, one card then. For this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Twin Flame relationship for September 2019, please clarify this card of self-worth. Repentance. Okay. Now, I could go into this story. It's a long story. I'm just going to read the first part of it, and then I'm going to, because I've gotten this card before. It's really not what you think. It's really not, because repentance, right? There's a word pagans fucking hate. Repent my ass. Repent and tell her. No thanks. What number are we here? 52. 52. Oh, like DC Comics. 52. 52, 48, 51, 52, if they'll let me read it. No, that didn't help. Sometimes I yawn if it doesn't. Be aware that even when you make a mistake, that too can be, sorry, pardon me for 1 second. As soon as I go to tune in, my eyes are clouding over. And isn't it just weird how it's doing that, considering I just popped it in? All right. So here's the thing about repentance. What it's really saying, they're saying, Martin, go with what you know. The feeling on this card is that, yeah, there's been a lot of pain and suffering in both of your lives, and that you're both carrying guilt for mistakes made. That maybe this is your way of punishing yourself, what you're doing to yourself. Maybe that, not that there's abuse, but there's got to be guilt here, right? That the mistakes that you made were just part of the path, and they're hindering your self-worth. How could this relationship do anything other than bring up the guilt and your mistakes and sort of rub your nose in it, repeating them over and over and over again in this relationship, so that you can find your true worth and the worth of the other person, that you wouldn't really have been able to heal it in this way without them, that this is worth it. Have there been mistakes? Sure. But even soulmates make mistakes. But from even the higher fifth dimensional perspective, you've never done anything wrong. You may have made mistakes, but you've never done anything wrong. And that's a paradox explosion. That's what true love says. It says that your mistakes were necessary, because everybody makes them, right? Everybody makes mistakes. Choose yet again. Dearest God, Goddess, all that is, help me choose yet again, right? Help me decide for the gods for me, decide for God for me, decide for spirit, decide for true love for me. I can't seem to do it. I cannot seem to forgive myself. But then doesn't it make sense, this repentance? Guilt is always about the past. The mistake is already about the past. Be present. Sorry, be present. Be present. Dream of the future, right? Be in the present and dream of the future. When we dream, everything is possible. This twin flame relationship is going to take a Taurus. It's going to take somebody who can be obstinate in the most positive way, which is, okay, I'm going to dabble. I'm going to do this as the dilettante. Yes, I'm dealing with this artist, which, you know what, I never actually read the artist archetype on this. And honestly, I will put these in one of the comments below, because my eyes are literally fogging over as I do this. So I apologize for that. It's never really happened before. So I'm going to go with it and say that there may just be part of this twin flame relationship that there is some blind spots here. There are some blind spots, but the blind spots, first of all, when there are blind spots, like for years, I could read anybody as soon as I was emotionally attached to them, and then whoop, gone. That was my blind spot, right? Even with friends, but I've learned as a result of that to just pull back, go deeper in tune, go into the collective, right? So all of this stuff is just absolutely necessary. but very, very worth it. So hang in there. I know this was a lot of information. I know this. I can't even see what time it is on the clock right now, but that this is worth it. This is worth sticking in there. And if you need help, please reach out and ask, to me, to a friend, because this is not easy. But let's say the card that's really jumping for me right now is this: risk with prayer. Just make the prayer. Just make the prayer, and it doesn't matter how you pray. It doesn't matter if you're lighting a candle, chanting a chant, going to church, to temple. It does not matter the form. Prayer is a medium of miracles. So pray, and I wish you the very, very best of luck, and may you be blessed. May the entire Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love and twin flame relationships be blessed with all that they need, and may we all be blessed with all that we need, all the way, all the way, all the way home. So mote it be. I thank you so much for your time. Please like and subscribe if this helped, because maybe this wasn't your reading. This is it feels a little specific, but that's how readings go sometimes. So please, good luck with this. Reach out, get the help that you need. But for now, my bullish, blessed dilettantes get to blessing. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed yourself too. Blessed, blessed be.